Okay. As the Premier League, kicks off what in less than 24 hours. Premier League is set to begin, and I must tell you that it promises to be a scintillating and fantastic Premier League season. And here are my top five at the end of May 2027. These are the clubs I feel will occupy the top five spots, on the English Premier League table, beginning from bottom to top. On number five position, I am placing Liverpool. Number five position, I'm placing Liverpool. Sole reason I'm placing Liverpool on number five is because last season they actually struggled. They actually struggled to make even the top five. It was a struggle, and that was when they even had a complete team. They had Konate, they had Salah, they had all sorts of their players were in good form. And then they had a manager who just won the Premier League. And now going into this new season, they have lost Konate, they have lost Salah, and they've really not replaced those players. And now they've even lost Curtis Jones as well. And then now they have a new manager coming in. I really see Liverpool struggling, in this new season. And that's why I'm placing them now, in fifth position. And now on the number fourth position, it's going to be a tussle, between these three clubs, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Tottenham Hotspur. But I'm going to be giving this position to Manchester City. Manchester City, I see them finishing in fourth, solely because for two reasons. There's no more Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, and the way that Manchester City have been selling their players, it's making me worry. It's making me feel concerned. I'm not a Manchester City fan. I'm a Manchester United fan. But if you look at the way that they've been selling their players, we just heard now that Savinho, they've agreed to sell Savinho to Tottenham Hotspur 75 million euros, and Omar Mamouche is next, and you never can tell. Before the transfer window shuts, we might just wake up one morning and hear Haaland to Real Madrid. Here we go. You understand me now? So the way they've been selling their players, and they don't have the winning a manager that has the winning mentality as Pep Guardiola. I'm giving fourth position now to Manchester City. Third spot is going to be a tussle between Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur, because if you look at the way Tottenham Hotspur have really, they've really reshuffled their team, and they really improved their team. They've gone gung ho in the transfer market and transfer window. You know, they arguably are. I think they would be wrestling for this squad, you know, or the team that has the strongest squad depth, you know, with Arsenal in the Premier League this season. I must tell you, and I see Tottenham really doing well, especially with the manager that they have in Roberto De Zerbi. So I'm going to be giving Tottenham Hotspur, you know, the third position, you know, solely because of all of that. I know these new players, they still need time to gel. But then if you look at the players they're buying or they're bringing in, most of them have Premier League experience. You know, they are not really buying outside the English Premier League. They're bringing players from within the Premier League, and they have a manager who's been in the Premier League before. He has the experience. He knows his terrain. So I'm giving this third position to Tottenham Hotspur, and Chelsea might just miss out, you know, of the top 5. They might be 6th position, you know, but this is my top 5. Second spot is my dear Manchester United. As sad as it may sound, but then I feel like Manchester United have really not done enough in the transfer window to make me believe that yeah, they can wrestle the Premier League title away from Arsenal. You know, that's my thought and that's my belief. You know, I feel like United, you know, will be able to get into, you know, that second position. They were 3rd last season, and now they can go one step further, you know, in this season, you know, incoming season rather. And then champions, you know, they will retain their title, they will retain their crown. Arsenal, you know, with the way Arsenal have gone on to strengthen their squad, you know, in this transfer window, I really don't see any club that can really pull a challenge, you know, to them. If only Pep Guardiola was still at the helm of affairs at Manchester City, I would have said, okay, yeah, Guardiola and Manchester City would have given Arsenal a run for their money. But Guardiola is not there anymore. And Arsenal is the most stabilized team in the entire Premier League. If you look at how stabilized they are right now, their manager has been there for, this is going to be his 7th year, if I'm not mistaken. You know, they have a stabilized team. They've even added, you know, more, even to a team that just won the Premier League. And they've sold, I don't think they've even sold anybody. You understand? So they have their complete team. They understand each other. You know, Arsenal have about 9 good defenders that they can have a plan A, plan B, plan C, you know, in the defense line. So I really don't see any team that can really wrestle the Premier League title, you know, away from Arsenal. And that's why I'm going to be giving the title to Arsenal, you know, just because of that. But then anything can happen, but that's my top 5. Number 1 spot, Arsenal. Number 2, Manchester City. Number 3, Tottenham Hotspur. Number 4, Manchester City. And number 5, Liverpool. And then if you want to give it a number 6, you know, and then that's where you will be finding Chelsea. Now, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.